Let's rock and roll. We're going to sing When You're Smiling.
Good job, you guys. I'm Sandra Shields, your practitioner on duty, supporting Reverend Mary and all of you this morning. Will you please read the affirmation for the Center of Spiritual Living, La Crescenta, with me? This is our mission statement. We are a loving spiritual community that offers opportunity for personal growth and joyful self-expression. We are passionately dedicated to welcoming a diversity of people, activities, and ideas. We open our hearts and minds to the expression of compassion and the experience of personal growth as we live and practice science of mind principles. And so it is.
And this must be the time when I'm going to say something wildly inspiring. You're going to go out and have abundance and all kinds of great things. We welcome you here today, and let's know that this center is a place of oneness. Do you feel it? Do you feel it in the sanctuary right now? Mm-hmm. And our commitment in this teaching is to know that all is divine. We are all expressions of the divine, and in this center we foster your awareness of your divinity, your success, your prosperity in every aspect of your life, and we know that the great goodness of God expresses through you right in this moment, and so it is. Okay, and now we have our musical inspiration. Yay, Michelle! Yay.
Well, I feel inspiring. So the songs today are being sent out into the world, and we are lifting up the world with our prayers. And this song is called I Send My Love. Send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my prayers and power over the mountains. I send my power over the sea. I send my prayers and power into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send peace over the mountains. I send peace over the sea. There's only one ocean. I see peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my passion over the mountains. I send my passion over the sea. I send my passion into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I share it with the world, and it returns to me. My love is out there, and it returns to me.
Good morning again. Sandra Shields, your practitioner. And now it's time for our affirmative prayer, and I just ask all of you to feel your feet on the ground. Close your eyes if it's comfortable for you. Feel you're completely connected to the universe, and just focus inside to that God presence within, knowing right here and now that you are one with the one. There is never any possibility that you can be separated from that one divine life. As we know together, there is one mind, one body, one love, one life. And that is the life of God. And that life is our life now. We feel it, we know it, we accept it. We see this God force moving through all of our affairs. It goes before us and behind us, just making the way straight and smooth. And we just embrace this oneness right here and now. And we know that if there's any circumstance that is challenging, where we are experiencing change, where there is a space of maybe, where there's a liminal space that feels challenging and causing anxiety, we just know that God is right there clarifying, helping, supporting each and every one of us through that uncertain time to the next place that we need to go on our journey. And we just know that that support is always available. We are not alone, and we claim that now. And we know that God is divine right action, perfect health, peace of mind, right knowing, right relationship, right self-expression, divine creativity, right employment, deep peace of mind. We embrace that rightness. We know that it's here. We claim it. And with a deeply grateful heart for this knowledge of our place in the universe and how God works in us, through us, as us, we simply release this prayer into the divine law of mind, knowing it's absolutely done and so. And so we say, and so it is. Amen.
I am one with the Spirit.
for today is from the Science of Mind textbook by Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of religious science and a leader in the positive thought movement. This is a reading on causes and conditions, and it's about affirmative prayer as well. And it's on page 187, first 3 paragraphs. And it's never limit your view of life. And again, the purpose of this reading really is to address the issue of maybe and how you work with that issue moving forward in your life. And it's this: never limit your view of life by any past experience. The possibility of life is inherited within the capacity to imagine what life is, backed by the power to produce this imagery or divine imagination. It is not a question of failing or succeeding. It is simply a question of sticking to an idea until it becomes a tangible reality. The illusion is in the way we look at things. We have looked at poverty, degradation, and misery until they have assumed gigantic proportions. Now we must look at harmony, happiness, plenty, prosperity, peace, and right action until they appear. When we are making a demonstration, we pay no attention to what happens in the objective world. We interpret causes by conditions only as we realize that a condition must partake of the nature of its cause. If there appears to be confusion to the condition, then there must have been confusion in the thought back of it. We pay no attention to the objective expression so long as we know we are getting the right subjective recognition. The way scientifically to work out a problem is daily in thought to conceive of it as already being an accomplished fact in our experience. We realize that desire is already embodied in the absolute. We are dealing with nothing less than the absolute with reality. During this process, many things may happen that appear to be destructive. We may pass through good fortune and bad. But if we can come to the point where we are not disturbed by things, we have found the secret. If, as Jesus said, we are judged not according to appearances, but judge righteously, remember that things which are seen are not made of things which do appear. If I repeat, we can judge in this manner. Out of any chaos, we can produce harmony, and so it is.
So our next song is What a Wonderful World. Please join me.
I see them blue for me.
What a wonderful
You sound great this morning. I really appreciate that. Yeah, some days are better than others, but we're doing our best, and I appreciate that. So affirmation of the month, if you'll read that with me on the top of your program. Today, I step into my power. I know I am a spiritual being, and I release what's keeping me from being what I am meant to be. I make choices that enhance my wisdom as I move along my divine path. And so it is. Michelle.
Okay. Okay, so this is where we get to dance for peace, or as I call it, wiggle it out for peace, okay? We'll just send it all around the world, and they'll all feel it. Yay. Okay, hit it, Ty. When my world is not okay, when there's roadblocks in my way, when I feel so all alone, these words will bring me home. Okay, it's this. Let love lead the way. Doggy dance. Let love lead the way. Oh, oh, oh. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. When we can't see eye to eye, no matter how we try, we can find our harmony if you sing along with me. Come on now, let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Oh, oh, oh. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. In everything, love will be the gift I bring, to give and to receive, straight from the heart. I let love lead the way. Woo! I let love lead the way. Oh, oh, oh. Let love lead the way. I'm gonna let love lead the way. Okay, this is your part. Get up and dance. Woo! Oh yeah. Come on, you can wiggle it out. I can wiggle it out. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Come on, Devin. You can do it. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Every morning when I wake, there's a choice that I can make. In everything I do and say, I'll let love lead the way. Hey, I'll let love lead the way. And I'll let love lead the way. Oh, oh, oh. I'll let love lead the way. 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 I'm gonna let love lead the way. Yeah, yeah. I'll let love lead the way. Oh yeah. I'm gonna let love lead the way. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Come on, God. Love lead the way. Let love lead the way. I'm gonna walk on God's way.
That doggy can dance.
Yeah.
And there's our message for the day. Bye-bye. No. So good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Mary Morgan, and it's so nice to be here. I'm seeing a bigger crowd today, so this is a good thing. And we didn't know that Jack could dance, but he can. He can indeed. So today my talk topic is called The Gift of Maybe. Now, I don't know if any of you heard that. Did anybody go, huh? The Gift of Maybe? Because a friend of mine had told me about the book, and I'm like, The Gift of Maybe. And she goes, read the book, read the book. I'm like, oh, I don't like the word maybe. Anybody not like the word maybe? It's kind of nowheresville. I think of Sandra probably was going, what the heck am I going to talk about? What am I going to read from? But you did wonderfully. Your quotes were, everything were great. So the idea came from, the author of the book is Allison Carmen. Okay, and so what happened is she said that if we keep our mind open, the idea of the word maybe is actually, it's a seed, it's a gift, and it can act like a magic elixir. And I thought, well, I like magic elixirs. So what prompted her to write this book is that she said she was addicted to something in her life. And she said the addiction kept her from her happiness, it kept her from enjoying her life, it kept her from fulfilling her life and feeling present in the moment. And that addiction that she had was an addiction to certainty. Anybody ever have that?
Oh, yeah.
Like you gotta know, you need to know. It's like, are we gonna, you ask yourself the question all the time, is that person gonna call? Or what's the doctor report gonna say? Or am I gonna get the house? Or is my 401k gonna sustain me? Or whatever it is the question, we all wanna know the answer to it. And this teaching reminds us, as she does in this book, is that, you know what? There's a thing called divine right action. And the moment that we stay in that place of divine right action and allow goodness to happen, it's always much better than we could have even imagined. Anybody ever had an experience where you thought it was going to turn out a certain way and it didn't, but the not turning out the certain way was the blessing?
Oh, yeah.
Ever feel like that? So the thing is that the unknown or unsuspected really kept her frightened. She did not know what to do. She always had a plan, and we know those people. They're probably not anybody in this room, but the planners. Okay, what time are you going to be there? What are you bringing? How are you going to do this? We got to know everything and how it's going to be. And why do we do that? Because we have this ultimate need to control the outcome of our life so we can make sure that we're happy, right? We just want to make sure we're happy. And then many times we not only want to make sure that we're happy, we want to make sure that our kids are happy, our family's happy. I'm just doing this for so you can be happy, right? So we want to control everything and know the answers to everything and have it all figured out so that we control. And what happens with that? Ever try that? Sometimes things go south, don't they? And you go, uh-oh, my plans just went to hell in a handbasket and I wasn't planning for that. So she realized that she was spending most of her time always trying to figure things out. And so in doing so, it was driving her nuts. So she had one of her aha moments when she went to her Qigong master. And she said to him, how do you deal with uncertainty? And he goes, oh, I have a story for you. So the story is that there's a farmer. And the farmer has a beautiful farm and he raises horses. And he's got this one spectacular stallion. And so his neighbor walks by and says, oh, you are so lucky. You've got this fabulous horse. And he goes, maybe. The next day he wakes up and the stallion has run away. And he's heartbroken because it was his favorite stallion. The neighbor walks over and says, you have the worst luck. Your stallion ran away. And he looks at the guy and goes, well, maybe. So the next day, the stallion comes back with 5 mares. The neighbor comes over and goes, holy cow, you are fantastically given from the divine. You are so lucky, you're so fortunate. And he goes, maybe. Then the next day after that, his son goes out and rides one of the horses and falls off and breaks his leg. The neighbor goes, do I need to tell you how bad your luck is? Your luck is so bad. And he goes, maybe. The next day, the military come and they're going to draft people, but they can't draft his son because he has a broken leg. So the neighbor comes over, you are so fortunate. Do you realize how lucky you are? You are so lucky. And the neighbor goes, maybe. And the moral to that story is, think about it. Every one of those situations that he faced could have kept him in a pickle. But because he stayed in that spot of, I'm not going to make a judgment one way or the other if it's good or bad. I'm just going to be present. And what happens? Things unfold, don't they? Have you ever done that in your own life? Where you just allow things to unfold, maybe sometimes because you can't even figure out the answer. You don't even know what to do, how to talk to someone, what the solution is. But if you stay in the spot of maybe in uncertainty, stay in that field of, you know what, I don't know, but God knows. And that's what this teaching reminds us, isn't it? The beautiful mantra is, God is, I am. Sometimes when you're in a pickle, that's all you need to say. God is, I am. And what does that mean? That opens us up to all the possibilities of the universe, ones that we can't even think of. You know, sometimes it's not just that the horse, we are so worried about the horse running away, we forget that the horse can come back in a different way and with more bounty than we ever thought, because we've been so busy planning this, and when it goes south, we're like, that's it, that's the end of it. So for every situation, there are numerous possibilities, and sometimes we don't know the answer to those possibilities, do we? We don't know what's actually going to happen, but if we allow the space for it to turn up, it does. Many times, our stories define us, don't they? We tell people, they say, who are you? And you go, oh, this is what I do for a living. I came from this type of a family. I live in this house, blah, 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 blah. And we let the stuff out there define us. Or once we make decisions like, you know what, I'll be happy once I have that job, once I get in a good relationship, once I pay my car off, once I do all that, then I can really be happy. Then I'll feel like I've made it, right? But in religious science, Ernest Holmes says, never limit your view of life by what you have accomplished, right? Because what you've accomplished has come and gone, and it's made you who you are in this moment. But when you open up to all other great things, greater things can happen. So there's always one thing that's certain, and that is change. You know, we say death and taxes, but I think change is in there as well, because change is inevitable. And so when I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm uncomfortable with change. I like things to be sometimes the way they are. And when they start to change, you're like, uh-oh, now what? Now what are we going to do? And there's some people that just have a ball with it and say, hey, we never know, but it's going to be something great, isn't it? It's going to be something great. So the other night when I was fine-tuning the talk and I was typing and reading and da-da-da-da-da, I thought, well, I'll throw a load of laundry in. Threw a load of laundry in, and as I'm typing away, I hear blub, 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 and I'm like, uh-oh. So I go into the bathroom, and the tub is filled with water, almost to the brink, and the washer machine had backed up into the bathtub, and I'm like, huh, okay. I thought, all right, universe, you have a great sense of humor. I thought, here I am writing about the gift of maybe and living in the field of uncertainty. I'm like, okay, now what am I gonna do? I'm like, okay, let's see. I could take a shower at my neighbor's, I could call my friend, I could do this. I'm thinking all this stuff. I said, wait a second. I wanna go back, I'm just gonna go back and keep on the beam of writing this talk, and I'm just gonna stay there and like, I called a friend and he goes, let's treat. So we did a quick treatment. I go, okay, I gotta go back to what I'm writing. He goes, okay. 2 hours later, as I'm still writing, I hear blub, 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 and I'm like, okay, did it overflow now, or what happened? I go back in, boom, it all went down the drain. It like something gave, and then it went down the drain. I'm like, isn't that interesting? I didn't have to do a thing in that moment. I didn't have to do anything. I was like, do I get the plunger? Do I start, what do I do? And it's like, nope, just let it be. You just keep writing your talk, and you just know the truth, right? It doesn't mean that I did call a plumber, and they did have to snake it all. But in that moment, everything was fixed. And I thought, okay, I can be in this field of uncertainty, and you know, sometimes we have to ask ourselves the question, maybe this is better. Maybe something great's gonna work out. Or maybe I have to live with this for a while, and I'm gonna learn new things about myself and my new capabilities. You never know what the uncertainty is gonna bring you. But if you stress about it, you got that energy factor way up here about stressing. Instead, if you just go, okay, I'm gonna let it go. God's got this. I don't have to worry about it. God's got this. God, you do it. You do it. And God did do it. God did do it. So, how many of you know about Michael Phelps? Michael Phelps, of course, as you know, maybe in the 2008 Olympics won 8 gold medals. But maybe what you don't know is in the autumn before the Olympics, Michael Phelps slipped and fell and broke his wrist, okay? So they were all really working out, the whole swim team was really working out for the Olympics. And he was like, his coach said he never saw him so upset. He was like, this is it, I'm finished, my career's over, here was my big chance at golds, it's out the window. But instead, what happened was he got his wrist in a cast, and he couldn't swim, but he could get in the pool and he could kick. So he worked with a kickboard while his teammates were swimming by him, but he just kept kicking and kicking and kicking and working out every day. He was still in the pool, he just couldn't get the wrist wet, he couldn't do it, right? Well, I don't know if you remember, but in he won 8 gold medals, but in one of them, it was the 100-meter butterfly. He won by 1/100th of a second. And they said probably the reason he won was because he had this amazing ability to kick off the wall and get home. And they said it was his kick that brought him home. I have goosebumps when I'm telling that story. Because the truth is, how did he know? He never knew that, he was probably kind of sour sitting on the sidelines working on the kickboard while his friends were all getting to practice swimming and thinking, but he kept his mindset going. And because of that, he was able to really succeed. Now, what if he had sat on the sidelines and woe is me, that's it, it's curtains for me, nothing's ever gonna happen, I can't go in the pool, blah, blah, blah. But instead he shifted it and said, how can I make this work for me? What can I do to keep strengthening myself? And little did he know, by working on that kickboard, it was gonna develop his kick so much, he was gonna become this amazing person. Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson said, knowledge is knowing that we cannot know. That could be knuckle biting for some of us because we all have that need to know, right? We have that need to know. But why? Because not knowing becomes the source of our fear many times, right? We're frightened like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? It encourages us, though, in this time of uncertainty to stay in this place of trust, this place of openness to say, you know what? I may not know the answer, and maybe I'm not supposed to know the answer right now. Maybe I can stay in this place of uncertainty and really be guided into something that was completely off the map for me that I wouldn't have thought of. Let's see here. Cahill Gibran has a favorite saying that was kind of paralleling with Ernest Holmes, and it says, your living is determined not so much by what life brings to you as by the attitude that you bring to life. Think about that. And also, not so much by what happens to you as by the way your mind looks at what's happening. And isn't that the most important thing? To look at what's happening. I like this thought that, living in uncertainty, and even when stuff goes wrong, and it doesn't mean that stuff doesn't go wrong, and this idea of the gift of maybe is not asking you to pretend like things don't go bad, because stuff does. Some things go south. But it's saying, you know what? Even if it goes south, all is well. In the field of perfection, in the field of mind, all is well. And the quicker we get into that space, the quicker things work out in our benefit. So it's not saying don't pretend, just pretend like nothing's happening. It comes from our fears that if our endeavors don't work out, if our goals aren't accomplished, we'll be unable to find our way out of the problem. It just means, oh, life will never be the same. And at this point we ask ourselves, do I know for sure that things aren't going to work out? Do I really know it? Maybe the pickle that we're in is like a gift with a bow on the bottom. Think about that. A gift with a bow on the bottom, because you don't even know it's a gift at the moment, but when you turn it around and you really look at it, you go, oh, there is a gift here. I remember one time I was dating a guy a while ago, and I was in class with Dr. Anita Richelieu. And we broke up, the guy and I broke up, and I was brokenhearted. I was really upset about it. And she goes, did you ever realize that the fact that you broke up with this guy was the answer to your prayer? I didn't even think about that. She's like, maybe that's the divine right action. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Because we're so busy on, hunt the deer, get the target, right? We want whatever it is we want, that we forget that we're in charge. And that sometimes when we've released our prayer, we have to know that, hey, our prayer is being answered, maybe not in the fashion we thought. Maybe is the glue that holds together our positive outlook. So keeping positive it frees us from defining any moment as good or bad. And that was also in Ernest's whole reading today, that unexpected good doesn't have to define our experience. We can still go on our merry way and be at peace with whatever's going on. It's nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So it's a perfect time to work out when things are going on. Try a maybe statement for you. Maybe helps us accept the moment and gives you an opening to recognize there are other options that you may not have considered. So there's a beautiful saying in the Bible that says it came to pass. You notice it doesn't say it came to stay. It came to pass. And it came to pass means it came to pass to give you its gift, and now it's moving on. So don't stay there in the muck. Don't stay in the mud and the trouble and the upset. It came to pass, and go, okay, what's the gift? What's the blessing here? What's the good that's come out of this? And now I'm going to interpret it from there. The next time you're feeling sad, simply notice the feeling and breathe. When you're feeling sad, just say, what am I feeling right now? And just breathe. And acknowledge the feeling and just breathe. And what happens? You've given it its just cause. You haven't ignored it. You haven't pushed it away. You haven't poured pink paint all over it to make it all happy. You go, what is it? Okay. Just breathe into that and go, next, next. Because there's always a next, isn't there? There's always a next where you're going to go. Sometimes we get so stuck in as things should be, we can't accept what's in front of us. Have you ever done that? Has anybody ever seen the movie Madagascar? It's about the animals in the New York Zoo and they escape to the zoo. Well, in one of the episodes, they kick the lion out of the jungle. He's ticked them all off and they kick him out of the jungle. But you know how they do it? There's a door in the jungle and they push him through the door and slam the door. So the lion's outside going, let me in, let me in. He's freaking out, like, let me in, let me in. He doesn't realize that there's nothing on either side of the door. It's just a door in the middle of the jungle.
Oh,
But because he's like, they pushed me through the door, that's the door I have to go through. And we may laugh at that, but that's what we do all the time, isn't it? Oh, it has to be this way. This is the way I went out, this is the way I'm going in. No, you could walk right around. We have the freedom to know. But guess what? When our mind is fixated, we only see the door, and we only see that the door is shut. And then we get upset, and it gets us in a tailspin. Oh, everything's gone south again. But the moment you go, oh, what are my options? Hey, maybe something good's coming out of this. Maybe there's another way around this that I haven't thought about. And you don't have to figure it out, right? Like, I love always saying that, there are billboard signs, there are license plates, there are little signs you'll see in the news. There are all kinds of signs that the universe sends us when we keep our mind open to go, here's the message, follow this, So when we become willing to let go of things that should be, we can allow things that can be. Feel the difference when you say, this should be what's happening, and allow what can happen. Everything's very different. The author herself, she's an attorney, and her big dream was to go to NYU. But the problem is, she didn't get into NYU, and she was heartbroken. She said, that's it. You know what, my law career, everything's out the window. And so what she did was she applied to another school, pardon me, and she got in that school. So she graduated after 4 years, and she got a great job at a law firm. And the law firm even agreed to pay her for her master's, and they sent her to NYU. And she hadn't planned that, so she goes, I did the roundabout way to going to NYU, but she said, because I went to Fordham, instead, I met my husband that I have 2 lovely kids with, I met my 2 best friends, I got an incredible job, and she said, all that might not have happened if I went to NYU. And I was so heartbroken that it wasn't going to work out, that I thought, that's the end. Now, have you ever experienced that? That you think, oh, this is the way, maybe that relationship didn't work out, or that job didn't work out, or you didn't get the car you wanted to get, or the trip failed, or whatever it is. Maybe that's the divine plan. Maybe. Maybe if you say maybe in the situation. Maybe there's a new way to approach the situation. So there's a beautiful saying that Dr. Frank Richelieu always had, and it was, yesterday ended last night. So whatever you have experienced up until now doesn't determine anything. It ended last night. It's over, so you can now know all things are great. When I was first looking for my house, which I still live in today, I was meeting some friends for dinner one night, and I called them and said, hey, I'm going to be a little late. I'm going to go look at this house. But I couldn't find the street. And I was like, I didn't have MapQuest or any of that stuff, so I was driving up and down and was looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, so I went down this wrong street. And as I went down this wrong street, I look over and this guy is hammering a for sale sign in the front yard. So I pull over and I call my realtor and I say, oh my gosh, I'm on this street and this guy's hammering a for sale sign. I don't think we ever saw this house. And she goes, what street are you on? I'm like, I have no idea. And she goes, well, go ask him if the house is really for sale. So I walk up, I go, oh, are you putting the house on the market? He goes, yeah, it's going on the market tomorrow. Would you like to see the house? And so they're a darling couple, and they go, do you want to come in and see the house? I go, sure. Now at this point, I feel like I've looked at like 80 houses, okay? Honestly, I looked at a lot of houses. And so I walk in the door, and you know when you know. I walked in the door. I literally am standing right in the living room. I'm like, this is the house. I didn't know how much it cost. I didn't know anything, but I was like, this is the house. And it wound up being the house. It wound up being affordable. It wound up being amazing. Everything worked out perfectly. But it was just, I took a wrong turn. Did you ever take a wrong turn and it takes you somewhere great? I mean, think about it. That's the gift of maybe. Like maybe you were supposed to go down that street. Maybe the universe was going, hello, I've been telling you about this is perfect. You've been asking for this. Here it is. And I wouldn't even have gone on that street. I didn't even know where I was. I never even knew that neighborhood, so I didn't even know what was happening. But the idea is to say, I am open and receptive to all the good in the universe. And when I say that, all the good in the universe opens up to me. So I ask you today, what questions do you need to ask yourself? What are you reluctant to let go of? What's calling you to say, you don't have to plan everything. Go have fun. Allow life to flow through you. Allow your answered prayer to show up in a way that you may not expect. What is it that you're asking yourself in your heart, in your soul, for the answer for? Because those questions are going to lead you to your divine right action. Joseph Campbell has a beautiful saying, we must be willing to let go of the life that we have planned to accept the life that's waiting for us. Do you feel that? Be willing to let go of the life that you've planned to accept the life that's waiting for you. So the journey is always about stay in that open field of accepting and knowing and trusting that God is and I am, and that your journey of maybe is always going to lead you to something great. And so it is. And it's today's lesson. Okay, and now I believe we're going to have our affirmation. Okay, and I'll move the box. My soapbox.
So now is our time for our offering, and we have our collection plate at the back of our sanctuary. And our musical affirmation is, I am so blessed. Let's all sing that together. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so thankful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so thankful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so thankful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so thankful. I am so blessed.
And if you'll read with me the offertory ideas about sharing in the middle of your program, the abundance of God is my infinite source, and I dwell in the midst of this infinite abundance. I give freely and fearlessly into life, and life gives back to me with fabulous increase. I share my gifts in joy and with a grateful heart as I am nurtured and blessed by this spiritual center. I give my offerings in love and support of all the good I deserve, and so it is. Again, thank you so much for your gifts that support the mission of the center that uplifts our entire community, and so it is. Thank you.
Okay, thank goodness for our phone. I didn't get this printed out. So this is our book of the month. These are our announcements today. It's called Wise Women Don't Worry, Wise Women Don't Sing the Blues by Jane Claypool. And this is our last copy, so if you are interested, let me know. It is a spiritual handbook without the mystical trappings. This book is not like any other metaphysical book you've read. Written especially for women, it is filled with down-home practical advice and down-to-earth wisdom. You can use this book to shape and change your life. It's now in our bookstore for $10, and originally it was $15.95. And some of the nice things is that it's really easy to read. The chapters are short. She starts with a little vignette of her life, and then at the end of each chapter, there are some wonderful questions that you can journal and some lovely affirmations that you can set upon using for yourself. And so here is the save the date. Our rummage sale is happening Saturday, October 21st from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Nancy Victor is our committee chair, and there is a sign-up sheet in Chafee Hall for help prior to, meaning like the Friday before. She's definitely going to need some help, and on the day of the rummage sale. It says bring your items on Sundays, so today's the last Sunday that we have before our rummage sale. If there are additional goods to be donated, you either can make arrangements with Nancy, or I do come here on Mondays to do the bookkeeping, so I would be here to, receive a box of your goods if you still have something that you want to donate. So clean out your garage, your attic, or your spare room. For those of you who have been enjoying the healing sound bath that we've been having once a month for like the past 3 or 4 months, this month will be dark because they are traveling in Japan, but there will be 2 more before the end of the year. They're both going to be on Saturday. One would be November 18th, and the other one would be December 16th. And it's at 1 p.m. here in the sanctuary, and the donation is $25. And it really is beautiful, relaxing, transcendent even. It's wonderful. Our spiritual living circle is now meeting. It's a Wednesday night meetup and discussion of our Science of Mind articles, and that is meeting on Zoom from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. If you are interested in participating, let me know, and I will make sure I have your email and link you up with our Zoom meeting. Volunteer Sunday will be Sunday, November 26th. Now that is the 4th Sunday in November. And we are going to be having a turkey dinner and all the fixings catered by IHOP. If you are going to be there and plan to attend, I'm going to get a sign-up sheet into Chafee Hall so that we can get a definite head count before the 19th of November, because that would be a week before, so that we can give them our count for our Volunteer Sunday dinner. Stamps are always welcome. And our chef of the day is Lainey, and her menu is Sunday surprise.
No, chicken, salad, and sourdough bread, and chocolate white mousse cake.
Ooh, chicken, salad, garlic bread, white mousse cake, chocolate white mousse cake. And I think there's some watermelon.
Yes.
And did I mention salad? Anyway,
Yes.
good stuff, good stuff. Thank you, Lainey. Be sure to thank her. And also thank the people who do our setup and cleanup for hospitality. Okay. So I found some Sunday funnies, and these are from the newspaper. A couple of them are classified ads, and the rest are crazy headlines. So this was spotted in the classified ads. For sale, cemetery plot, $200. So I don't have to spend all eternity beside my ex. Okay, and another classified ad. Free rent in exchange for elderly woman. Okay, we gotta put a question on that one. And this one said, file these headlines under, we don't even wanna know. So the first one was, firefighters use jaws of life to free high school girl from locker. Okay, this does happen. And the FDA approves third silicone gel breast implant. Seriously? Okay. Missing woman unwittingly joins search party looking for herself. Okay, and this is like National Enquirer stuff. And this other one, woman's stomach bug. Woman's stomach bug is actually a baby.
Oh, wow.
Okay then, and this one came from the Times Herald. West Point cadets train for life in Iraq with weekend in New Jersey. What is going on in New Jersey? And the last one, police charged one-armed man with unarmed robbery. Okay.
Okay. Now, a benediction? Okay. I think for our benediction, I would like to do a prayer treatment and devote it to our beautiful Reverend Beverly. Are you on with me on that? Okay. So let's know together. As we take a deep breath in, the power of God is mighty. It is the very divine essence at the heart and soul of my being. I am one with it. And I allow that power to guide, direct, and protect me every step of my way. And I'm knowing for each and every one of us here in this room, and particularly our beautiful Reverend Beverly, knowing that divine right action is always happening. The perfect health of God is all that I know. And that health is realizing right here, right now. I am knowing that all the wisdom of God is the wisdom of all the doctors that work with Reverend Beverly. And it's the wisdom that we use each and every day to make decisions that raise us up to our greatness. And so I step out of my way and allow that greatness of God to express through me. And we know as we hold Reverend Beverly in our mind at the thought of that the light surrounds her, raises her up in perfect health, vitality, energy, spunk, and awareness of the oneness of spirit, moving, guiding, and directing her. I release anything that might be stopping or blocking my good from showing up in my life. And we are declaring right now that anything that is stopping or blocking Reverend Beverly opens up right now. And all the answers are there, even in the space of maybe, even in the space of uncertainty. I know the truth that perfect God, perfect man, whole being right here, right now. So as I release this prayer into the law, I know the law of mind is at work right now, in motion, creating the very thing that I declare. And with a grateful heart, I release this prayer with full understanding that my prayer is answered right now. And together we say, and so it is. Okay. And now our song. We're going to have our peace song if you'll stand.